Mike, thank you so much for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Day one. Hello, ICE. Come and get these illegals in our prison and get them out. Okay.
Yeah.
Number two, I will go tell the sheriffs of Minnesota there's you can be a new sheriff in town. If an illegal, I don't care if they got them cards or not. They commit a crime and you got them arrested, you call up ICE and cooperate and say, here, we got another one that committed crimes, right? Or bad one, right? Mm-hmm. And now, so that'll prevent them. If you don't want it, if you're driving around illegal and you're voting and you're caught, you're going to get shipped out, right? I mean, that's bar one. Then the other thing is, I'm not waiting 6 months. I'm going to those employers that are employing these illegals, and it's not going to be a fine so they can do cost of doing business. It's going to be jail time for the CEO, the owner, the business owner, and it's been done in Minnesota in another. It's true in another industry. So I know it can. When you get jail time involved, where it's mandatory, it stops it in the sand. So Amen. These illegals will not have these illegal jobs. These employers will have to hire people that need jobs here in our state, yes. And they have to, and everybody's paying taxes. And if you're an employer out there, you're going to go to jail.
You brought up the fraud, and that was another one of my questions. I was following the story, and House Republicans went after Governor Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison pretty hard. One of them even said that they belonged in jail if they fed this fraud. They knew about it. If you won, would you add on to what the DOJ is investigating with any state investigations, or would it maybe be cooperation with the DOJ on how Governor Walz and Keith Ellison didn't see this coming, or they were in on it? Is that part of your agenda if you're to win?
I already know a lot of that because I've been personally attacked by both of them. Keith Ellison's office, the crooked attorney general of Minnesota here, he's went after my Lindell recovery network. That's my network to get, it's online, lindellrecoverynetwork.org, to get people out of addiction to Jesus Christ. He's attacked that. I'm well versed with both of them. They're both very bad. And well, I add on to that, we're investigating now. My own investigations and digging in. We have teams ready, so when I hit the ground running, if they're still around doing whatever, we're going to do everything we can, not only to prosecute but also to stop the fraud that's still going on. By the way, I met with TSA agents here in Minneapolis Airport about a month ago. 12 suitcases are still going out, according to them, daily. It's got to be people on the inside shipping off to Somalia. This stuff not only needs to be stopped, they haven't done, they can all sit there and tell you, the politicians, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Well, if it's still going on, you haven't done nothing. So anyone that looks at this race in Minnesota that feels hopeless or whatever, and that there were years ago, Nick, when I was at the Rose Garden, right before the China virus, we all went into lockdown, and I said some remarks there. And I asked the president, can I say something off the cuff? And if anyone remembers that, I said, a nation had turned its back on God. We had taken God out of our schools. I said, we need to pray for God's grace, that he'll give us grace. And so we can spend time getting back in the word and back with our families and everyone's, those prayers have been answered, everybody. God's grace is here. We get one shot at all this. We get one shot, and we're in the middle of it right now. This is historical. It's the best time in history to be alive. And I'll say one last thing, Nick, on that. People come up to me all the time. They go, but Mike, I prayed, and this didn't happen, and this didn't happen. I said, those are reactionary prayers that might not be God's will. And I said, where is God's will? God's will is in the Word. I get in the Word every day, read the Bible. My wife and I, we get in there and pray, and then you can be proactive in prayer, everybody, and it lines up perfectly with God's will. So you see things happening out there, and it feels so overwhelming. You're going, this is going to be, and you get it more. Your prayers, your proactive prayers will get answered. And as we get way out here, I believe we're going to look back and say, even the bad things, God uses all things for good. So here in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, that fraud is a blessing of all time. Because we're going to walk through that door, because we're, these Democrats and these guys, these horrible I'll just call them straight out evil politicians that are in there. Anybody that's done what Waltz and Keith Ellison and Elon Omer, what they've done, I consider it pure evil.
Read a lot that you overcame addiction. You overcame obstacles in your way, like average Americans, average Minnesotans would want to hear. What is your strategy to overcome those types of problems, spiritually speaking? What if you can give us some tips on how you overcame these challenges in your life? What did you do? What were your go-to moves?
Well, let me tell you, I'll tell you guys a little story. And I don't usually say stuff that, when I'm with the president, but I think this one bears repeating. And anyone that has my book, What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO, the stories in there. I actually surrendered my life to Jesus Christ on February 18, 2017. But there's another story when I quit all my addictions. And the cover of this book is when drug dealers did an intervention on me. But let me tell you what the short thing that happened. I was in the Oval Office with Carolyn Levitt and the president and myself, and we were talking about the terrible fentanyl crisis we have pouring into the country. My wheelhouse has been addiction, right? So, yes. And we were talking about that, and the president, he says to me, he says, we're talking about different things. And he said, Mike, tell Caroline how you quit everything. Tell her your story quick. So I went to Caroline and I go, on January 16, 2009, I said, we all have big callings, but I said that day I'm praying and I'm going, and I go, you know what? I knew I had a calling or that if I went one more day, I would be, my choices that led me to a point where my other option in my life would be that plan B would be gone. But I said, I had one prayer that day. I said, God, I want to be free to the desire. I want to wake up tomorrow, be free of the desire from crack cocaine, alcohol, cigarette, you name it. And I woke up in the morning and I'm going, the desire was gone. And I've never looked back. And the president looked over to Caroline. He goes, can you believe that? And it's this is a miracle, you guys. I prayed for that and got it. Now, I thought that was the day I was saved. That came much later on February 18, 2017, where God actually freed me of my of things that have been. It was like a burden lifted off my shoulder. Where now I only have one fear, and that's fear of the Lord. I've been working for 8 months. I'm a businessman going into every sector, and we believe when we put out the budget, it looks like it can save over $20 billion. Okay, it could be up to 30 billion, but we have real numbers in there. And then what we're going to do with that, and what I'm going to do with that is get rid of property taxes or get them substantially lowered. It's the runaway train. And then our income tax here in Minnesota, I would like to eliminate income tax. There probably won't be enough to do that, but you might be able to eliminate sales tax and part of the income tax. We've got to make things affordable, but we're going to show here's where the money's going to come from. So everyone's going, well, are you just going to trim all these things? No, we looked into in Minnesota, there's 24 major welfare programs and over 400 NGOs. They need to stop and stand. We need to look at them, which we've already looked at them. And so we're going to come out with this. It's going to be amazing.
What's your favorite movie and why?
I've seen that question before. And, at the times we're in, I want to say Armageddon. If anyone's ever seen Armageddon. And I watched Armageddon. I cry at the end at different times when the father meets his son, Israel. And but I also remember a word in there because it's been brought up to me many times. Like, Mike, you were the only voice back then, and you and then it comes, and then also come with the election stuff. And they asked me, why are you running for governor? When I could have just sat back and kept fighting the election thing, keep trying to, my pillow aside. And in the movie Armageddon, the daughter asked Bruce Willis, and who's the character in there, said, Dad, how come you have to go up this? And for those of you that haven't seen the movie, it's Asteroid. It's a sci-fi movie. You save the world from this. It's over if they don't save it. This asteroid splitting. And anyway, he said that to him. And his answer was, if you remember, it said, because I don't trust anyone else to do it right, to get it done. And that's what he told NASA in that movie. He says, I'll do it, but I'm bringing in my team, And so I have a team of people bringing in. I don't think anyone could have won, and I don't think anyone could fix secure Minnesota and set an example for the whole country. And that's it. And that's why that movie, but it was on my favorite before I was running for governor. Now it just got a little more magnified. And it's not a grandiose thing, everybody. It's like, I just can draw a lot of parallels there of why I'm running for governor and why I didn't just say it. And the president, there's a lot of parallels there too. If you look back in his tapes from years ago, no, I'm not going to run for president unless I would absolutely have to, because no one else could do it the way it's supposed to be done. You remember those many things, interviews, you guys, back in the day. And finally he realized it's now or never. He loves the country, loves people. And it's like, hey, I'm the only one. I have to win or we don't have anything. And that's the way I really look at it. I have to win. This is a window of opportunity, but in Minnesota, we know, maybe the country, that door could shut, but right now it's open. We've got to walk through it.
Well, Mike, we thank you for everything you do. We wish you luck in the race, and we hope you'll come back and talk to us when you're governor-elect and share your plans for the first 100 days in office. We're looking forward to talking.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.